the European leader on the sheet mask market. As you can see on the left, we have mentioned our turnover and the investments we made in 2017 had good consequences 1 year after and 2 years after, because our turnover increased a lot. And even this year, we can say that after 4 months, 5 months, we have 10% increase turnover. If you decide to work with Lessonia, no problem about certification. We follow, of course, the GMP rules, and our factory is certified by EcoCert. It means that you are able, and we are able, to propose you Cosmos products. We are going to speak about the beauty market and the eco-design. Maybe you have already seen on the market some new innovation with sustainable packaging. We have mentioned on the slide an example from L'Oréal with La Roche-Posay brand. You can see a craft tube. We can also mention Colgate with the first sustainable tube. Just on the left, you can see a French brand, Umai. I precise that it's a solid shampoo, and we made this shampoo at Lessonia. And the particularity of this product is the folding box, because in the folding box, you can find seeds. And if you put your folding box in the ground, after a couple of weeks, you will have some plants in your garden. Also, now we can find more and more solutions with refillers. And we mentioned Clinique, but we can also mention L'Occitane en Provence. And just on the right, we have a brand named Kevin Murphy. And the particularity of this brand is to use recycled plastic, and the plastic comes from the ocean. A true challenge, because it's a true challenge. It's quite easy to speak, quite easy to find ideas, but it's difficult to realize. We have to answer 3 issues. First, the market players, then the technical and feasibility, and the cost. For the market players, for the consumer, it's sometimes difficult to link the beauty and the pleasure of the packaging with sustainability. And sustainable packaging can sometimes do not match and clash with the universe of beauty. Then for the brands, maybe you are the other actor, you have to find a good solution. And it's difficult to find a good solution, and you do not have to forget that the packaging can be a real act of purchase. Nevertheless, we trust that a real transition exists at the moment. You can see on the food that new uses are completely democratized. For example, you can go to the supermarket with your sustainable packaging. You can also buy bulk. So we really believe that in the cosmetic, we can have the same possibilities. But for that, we need to solve the problem of technical and feasibility. We know at Lessonia that sometimes it's difficult with our current machine, for example, to have a new sustainable flask, because it's not completely the same, and we need to adapt our machine. So it's not so easy. For the sheet mask product, we have to solve the problem of waterproof. We will speak about this problem later, but it's also not so easy. And then the cost, usually new packaging, new solutions are sometimes associated with different costs, but you will see that in our proposal, it's not the case. Our vision of sheet mask market. Now, since 2018, we have more and more customers at Lessonia interested by sheet mask product. And we believe it's going to continue, we are sure. Why? Because in Asia Pacific, skincare product, it's a daily care. In North America, we have the phenomenon of Korean beauty with innovation and naturality. So in Europe, of course, the phenomenon is coming and is going to continue in the next years. We are sure. But for that, we need to solve the problem with the environment. I don't know, maybe you are already tried a sheet mask. Maybe you have already bought a sheet mask at Lessonia. A sheet mask is a single use. So compared to a cream in flask, it's not the same impact on the environment. We have three different things. We have the complex. Then we have the layers. So the layer is here to protect the mask. And this is the mask. So if we consider that you use 1 or 2 masks per week, you have a lot of garbage at the end of the week. First point. Second point, in the complex, you have aluminum. Aluminum is here to guarantee the good barrier of the sachet. But to produce aluminum, you need a lot of water and you need a lot of energy. Also, you will speak about this point later. And then we have the layer. The layer is here to have a good folding and to help the unfold for the customer. But this layer is in polypropylene, and this polypropylene is not recyclable. So we are sure that sheet mask, it's a good solution because it's very soft, it's easy to use, but the impact on the environment is not so good. So to guarantee the future of the sheet mask, we need to find eco-friendly solution, but in the same time, we need to continue our innovation. That's why Lessonia, and we are here to speak about that, launched the first recyclable sachet for sheet mask. Jean-Henri, now this is you to explain the this is me again.
But I can explain if you wish.
No problem. No, we are here to speak about the new sachet, and this new sachet is very nice because we have only one material, so it's monomaterial sachet, without aluminum, with a barrier effect, and for that, we have a patented solution. Now it's your part.
Okay, thank you, Flavie.
No problem.
Thank you for your introduction. So I'm going to explain more the technical fact, and I'm going specifically about the main challenge that is the sachet. Because the first objective was to reduce the carbon impact, and the second one was to be able to propose a recyclable mask, and that means a recyclable sachet. So we started a research project more of 2 years ago, and we have tested a lot of different types of materials, and because we have to be sure that it should be cost effective, it should have a good barrier function, and it should be in regard of our industrial testing, it should be feasible. Regarding the barrier function, that means that the mask should not dry, so that means the barrier function with the water, and also it should avoid the evaporation of perfume and avoid the oxidation of the cosmetic formulation. So first, I would like to explain more sachets. And this is, a triplex. We have 3 different layers, and each of layers have its main function. The external layer is for the graphic design. The internal part is for the sealing, and the intermediate layer is for the barrier effect, the barrier function. And usually, Lessonia use, or all the markets use this type of sachet with inside aluminum foil. And because aluminum foil is very good for the barrier effect. But if we analyze, in fact, the carbon impact of the sachet, we can see that 66% of the carbon footprint is coming from the aluminum foil. Just to explain you why this carbon footprint, and I just would like to explain how we can produce aluminium. In fact, to produce 1 ton of aluminium, we have to use a bauxite. Bauxite is the mineral that we have to use that is transformed in alumina. And for that, we have to reject 2 tons of red mud. And then the alumina is transformed in aluminium by electrolysis. And for electrolysis, in fact, you have to solubilize the alumina in water, in big quantity of water, and then you have to heat with very high temperature and to use a very intense current, electric current. So that's why the production of aluminium has a very high carbon footprint, because for 1 ton of aluminium production, we produce 8 tons of carbon dioxide. So just to remind the 2 objectives, the first one was to reduce the carbon footprint, and the second one was to be able to propose a recyclable sachet. So the first challenge to reduce the carbon footprint was to remove the aluminum foil. And the second one was to use the same material, because to be able to obtain a recyclable sachet, we have to use the same plastic. You know, if you mix a PET and PE, this is 2 different types of plastic. And because this is thick, it's not possible to recycle. So that's why our technical solution is to use a sachet that contains the 3 layers, because you remember the 3 functions, but only with the same plastic family, only from a type of PP, polypropylene. And for the barrier function, in fact, this is a metallization. So metallization, that means that we have injected some metal inside a plastic layer, but this is very thin. It's only few nanometers. Okay. And so we have this type of sachet, and we have patent this technology. Good. So that means that this is an international patent that is required to pack a cosmetic sheet mask in this type of sachet. So this is the technical solution, and I would like to illustrate the barrier function efficiency. So we made a protocol. In fact, we have packed different sheet masks in sachets with usual aluminum foil sachet, with a plastic sachet that don't contain any barrier function, and the one with the Lessonia solution. And so you can see the different figure. In the left, this is in aging oven, and on the right, this is result at room temperature. And so you can see the blue color, it's the line with the aluminum foil. And then if we use a sachet that don't contain any barrier functions, we decrease a lot the rate of the sachet. But with our technical solution, we have something that is very interesting, that it's almost similar to the aluminum foil. So it's not exactly similar, but if you analyze, after 2 years at room temperature, we have lost 1.5 grams of lotion.
Which is not a lot.
It's not a lot, exactly. So with this technical solution, we have a good environmental footprint. Even if the user not recycle the sachet, we can save 11 tons of carbon dioxide. Okay. We can save a lot of water, and we can save to the reduction of red mud for 2.8 tons. And if the user is able to recycle the sachet, in this case, we can save 18 tons of the carbon dioxide.
Great, thank you. So at Lessonia, we have decided to go further. It means that we are not going to speak only about sachet or complex. We are going to speak about lotion, to speak about sheet mask itself, and to speak about production. So we have a global approach with the 4 pillars. Packaging, we have already spoken before. Now we are going to speak about the support. As you remember, at the beginning, I showed you a mask with a liner. So this liner is in PP. And this liner is very important because the sheet mask, the leaf of the sheet mask is very thin, very transparent. So the liner is able to, the liner allows to fold and unfold properly the mask. At Lessonia, we have the solution to remove it. So to save 16 tons of polypropylene, if we speak about annual production at Lessonia, our capacity is 40 million sheet masks per year. So if we think about 40 million sheet masks producing at Lessonia, we can solve 16 tons of polypropylene. How? Because we have 3 different sheet mask proposals for you. We have the lyocell, the hemp, and the cotton. Lyocell is a fiber from wood. We have already this material at Lessonia, but we are going to propose another material thicker. For the hemp mask, the leaf is already quite thick. I can show you an example in a complex. So here we do not have any layer, but it's very easy to unfold it and to put on your face. I can show you the fibers of hemp. So in this mask, you have 70% of lyocell and 30% of hemp. And we have also an organic cotton. So if you are looking for some organic sheet mask, it's possible with this material. I did not speak about biocellulose. Why? Because biocellulose, it's a very nice product, but the leaf is too thin and we cannot remove the layers. The solution we have is to not use a sachet, in this case, but use a recyclable cup. So Charlie, for example, you have an example here of recyclable cup.
Exactly. So if this is a plastic cup, this is for sure a recyclable one, because this is, if you remind, this is made from only one type of plastic.
Yes.
And usually with opercle. And so we can just remove, the biocellulose. And in this case, you can see that it's easy to use it.
So you have not a sachet, but you have a cup, but you have a product sustainable. At Lessonia, as you know, we have a laboratory to develop the formula, and we propose you different solutions. We have formula still ready for you. Some of them are Cosmos, but all of them are with at least 95% of natural ingredient origin. And there is no preservative. So if we think again with the capacity of Lessonia, 40 million sheet masks per year, if we do not have any preservative, we can solve 2 tons of preservative per year. And we want to speak about a local sheet mask. I think now it's important to speak about this point. Usually, all the brands used to go to Asia to make this kind of product. But now we have the solution in Europe and 100% made in Europe. We have the solution to have lyocell hemp in Europe. Of course, at Lessonia, we have everything here in Brittany, the lab and the factory. For the printing, no problem. We are only working with French printer. So you can go directly to this printer to validate, for example, your colors. We have a good reactivity compared to Asian production. And for everybody, you are, of course, very, very welcome to visit us and to make audit. And at the end, you are sure that your cosmetic file are going to be launched with a cosmetic file, which is very important. Last point, very important. No, it's okay. We have a new factory since 3 years now, And in this factory, we have 3 automatic lines. I do not know if you know the difference, but we can have semi-automatic lines and automatic lines. The advantage of this automatic line is it's going to cut the tissue to make the mask. And after, we can put the mask to fill the mask in the sachet. So this machine makes from A to Z the product. So, and it was the first machine in Europe which was able to make this kind of product. And our capacity was 40 million sheet masks per year. So this is the global approach we propose you today. Recyclable sachet, a biodegradable sheet mask, lyocell, hemp, or cotton. You have the choice with a lot of serum, organic, or very, very natural product. And we propose you a made in France, or if you want to speak, made in Europe. And to help you to realize your project, we are many people at Lessonia. We have a commercial team. Please, can you? We have a commercial team dedicated for different markets all over the world. We have a department with innovation and project packaging. It's you, Charles-Henri. We have also a lab, a very nice laboratory to make the formula. And we have one person to help you to export your product, for example, in different markets. Thank you very much for your attention. We are able to help you if you have some questions. Do not